Charlie Sykes and political reporter and author Molly Ball are back with me. All right, Charlie, let me get this straight. Iran gets sanction relief and Americans get freedom fuel, which I got to note, not the cheapest gas in the South Jersey suburb of Philadelphia, where these stations are popping up. At least two nearby stations started their prices 2 cents cheaper per gallon. What do you make of this gimmick, Charlie?
Well, my first reaction was, what the hell? I mean, so we're going to have now the government-run or government-affiliated gas stations. It is not hard for any of us sitting here to imagine what the reaction among conservatives and Republicans would have been if, say, Barack Obama or Joe Biden had rolled out this sort of thing. I mean, and also the fact that it is so kind of cheesy, the idea of freedom fuel. But keep in mind that it was Donald Trump who just a few weeks ago was saying that if this war was not ended, it would lead to global economic catastrophe, and saying that he did not want to be remembered the way Herbert Hoover was remembered. He is the one who laid out what the economic consequences of a renewed war would be. And yet here we are, and I'm not sure that calling, having freedom fries or freedom fuel is going to distract from the consequences of that.
Well, especially, Molly, but just to underline the point Charlie made, the president is testing a new midterm message. It is not about affordability. Watch.
Communism is the exact opposite of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's death, tyranny, and the pursuit of evil. Communism is a loser, and it always will be. Our warriors did not fight communism on battlefields across the world, only to have that menace rear its ugly head right back here in America. We're not going to let it happen.
So he's railing against communism, but he also wants to have government-run fuel stations. I mean, help me understand where communism, Molly, fits in all this. I get that it's a boogeyman. I get that it's sort of, to him, a vibe, maybe less than an ideology or a practice. But it's impossible to not see the differential between what he's saying and what he's doing.
Well, from what I understand, these gas stations are not government run or funded or don't have any formal affiliation with Trump or the White House or the government. It's just sort of a Trump fan, and the White House has embraced it and is promoting it. That being said, I think two things. First of all, it shows you how aware Trump is that this is a huge vulnerability for him, that gas prices, and he knows it, are a major pain point for Americans going into the midterms, and they're a huge vulnerability for him, and it has been hurting him politically since this war began and the prices started going up. And now that he's called off the ceasefire and prices are going to go up again, and it is still the summer travel season, that pain point remains. But I think, second of all, these are not government run, but I wouldn't be that surprised if Trump did roll out government run gas stations, right? He's someone who is not very interested in the sort of traditional fiscally conservative ideology that says government and markets should be separate. He's done a number of things, taking shares in companies, industrial policy, tariffs, so on, to indicate that he is not that kind of traditional fiscally conservative Republican. And I think, frankly, he is more in step with the public than some of those Republicans might be in this moment, when people are dissatisfied with the economy and really want to see more government intervention to help them make ends meet.
Charlie, I appreciate that Molly corrected where I misspoke there, because an anti-communist message, it's ironic given the administration's unusual habit of taking government stakes in major companies, Intel, yes, U.S. Steel, Vulcan Elements, just to name a few. Is it possible this president has more in common with communists or communism than he may realize?
Well, the reality is that communism and socialism actually mean something. They mean the government control of industry or the means of production. When Donald Trump uses communism, he just basically means people I don't like, things I don't like. Now, by the way, I mean that doesn't mean that there are not some far left extremists that he's going to try to link the Democratic Party to. But to your point, if you do have the government taking stakes in companies, that seems like kind of a classic definition of socialism or socialism adjacent. Here is a president who, may wrap himself in, in capitalist values, but really doesn't practice the free market. I mean, this is a market that he, he's very, very transactional. He operates by fear or favor. He picks the winners and the losers. All the things that conservative free market advocates opposed up until about 5 minutes ago. So I think that's the larger picture, is his involvement in the marketplace, his desire to put the thumb of government on, in terms of the, who succeeds and who does not succeed. And as you point out, taking government ownership of private companies. And again, I'm sorry to repeat myself, but it is not hard to imagine if Barack Obama would have said, yes, we're going to take, massive ownership shares in these companies, not just as a temporary basis, but ongoing, what the reaction would have been. But again, this is going to be a rhetorical thing that we're going to hear through the midterms. You can tell that he really likes this. He really likes, referring to his opposition as communist. How it plays, who knows?